Nobody saw this coming. Ford upgraded the most talked about V8 engine in America, and they did it without making a single announcement. If you own a Super Duty, or you have been watching the truck market closely, you need to hear this. When Ford introduced the 7.3L Godzilla 58 back in 2020, it was a statement. In an era where every automaker was chasing turbochargers and overhead cam complexity, Ford went the opposite direction. They brought back large displacement, push rod simplicity, and built an engine designed for people who actually work their trucks hard. Contractors loved it. Fleet operators loved it. Performance builders immediately recognized the potential sitting inside that iron block. But the real story is not the 2020 launch. The real story is what Ford did quietly in 2023 and 2024, and why almost nobody noticed. Starting with the 2023 model year, Ford began rolling out a series of targeted refinements across the 7.3L platform. These upgrades are often called Gen 2 improvements in enthusiast and aftermarket circles, though Ford never gave them an official marketing name. That is exactly why most buyers missed them. There was no press release, no big reveal, no Super Bowl commercial. Ford simply made the engine better and let the hardware speak for itself. The first and most visible change was a torque increase. Ford bumped peak torque from 475 lb-ft to 485 lb-ft, while holding horsepower steady at 430 in Super Duty applications. 10 lb-ft might not sound like a dramatic jump, but in heavy-duty truck applications, low-end torque defines everything. It determines how confidently a truck launches under a loaded trailer and how the transmission behaves when you are climbing a grade with a full payload. Powertrain engineers working in the commercial vehicle space consistently point out that modest torque gains at the low end have an outsized impact on real-world drivability. Ford achieved this not through radical hardware changes, but through refined combustion calibration, improved ignition mapping, and better fuel delivery programming. Quiet, focused, precise engineering. Alongside the Torquey update, Ford optimized shift strategies in the 10-speed TorqShift automatic transmission that pairs with the 7.3L. Transmission calibration specialists will tell you that modern powertrain performance is increasingly a software story. By tightening the relationship between shift timing and torque delivery during gear changes, Ford unlocked smoother acceleration and stronger mid-range pulling power. For commercial fleets, that means better behavior under heavy payloads day after day. For personal use buyers, it means a truck that feels more responsive and less industrial on the road. The second major area of improvement was airflow. Ford revised the intake manifold on the updated engine, and the aftermarket community took notice immediately. Engine airflow specialists describe intake efficiency as the foundation of naturally aspirated performance. The revised manifold improves volumetric efficiency, allowing the engine to breathe more freely at higher RPM without giving up the strong low-end torque the Godzilla is known for. More importantly, the updated architecture brought compatibility with a larger 92mm throttle body, similar in concept to what you find on high-performance Ford applications. A bigger throttle body reduces airflow restriction at wide-open throttle, improving throttle response and high RPM breathing capacity. Performance builders confirmed right away that this airflow revision is a primary reason the 2023 Plus engines respond far better to camshaft upgrades, headers, and forced induction builds. Third, Ford reinforced the valvetrain and thermal management systems. The updated engine features investment-cast roller rocker arms with a 1.81 ratio. Valvetrain engineers consistently highlight that roller rockers reduce friction and improve long-term reliability under sustained high-load conditions. For trucks that spend hours towing in summer heat or idling on job sites, reduced friction means longer component life and more consistent performance over the engine's lifespan. The 1.1 ratio also enhances cylinder filling, which contributes directly to the engine's strong torque curve. Thermal management got a serious upgrade as well. Piston oil squirters were added to spray lubricant onto the underside of each piston, controlling heat buildup during extreme towing or sustained high RPM operation. Powertrain durability experts point out that piston oil cooling is a hallmark of engines built for serious duty cycles, rather than just strong spec sheet numbers. Ford also fitted sodium-filled exhaust valves. The sodium inside each valve stem melts at high temperature, transferring heat away from the valve head more efficiently. This is a feature typically reserved for performance or heavy-duty applications where exhaust temperatures stay elevated for extended periods. In real-world terms, it means better longevity during heavy hauling, long-distance towing, and high-output tuning scenarios. Ford also expanded the engine's commercial application range. In 2024, the E-Series van lineup standardized the higher output calibration at 325 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque, dropping the lower economy tune that previously limited commercial operators. Fleet managers welcomed this move. Commercial vehicle analysts have long noted that underpowered work vans create premature drivetrain stress because drivers are forced to hold the throttle wide open just to maintain highway speeds. By raising the baseline output, Ford improved drivability and reduced long-term mechanical wear across its commercial fleet business. The platform also supports a gaseous fuel prep package for CNG and propane applications with hardened valve train components designed to handle the higher combustion temperatures associated with alternative fuels. That gives Ford an edge with municipalities pursuing lower emission solutions. On the performance side, the 7.3L architecture reaches its current ceiling with the Godzilla crate engine from Ford Performance. Featuring forged internals and ported cylinder heads, this variant has demonstrated capability exceeding 1,000 horsepower with forced induction in extreme builds. Performance engineers point out that very few modern truck engines offer that kind of headroom. The strong iron block, cross-bolted main caps, and generous bore spacing provide a foundation more commonly associated with traditional big block architecture. The Godzilla proves that the 7.3L was deliberately overbuilt from day one. The pushrod design keeps physical dimensions relatively compact compared to overhead cam alternatives, making it attractive for retrofits into classic Ford trucks, muscle cars, and even cross-brand builds. Builders consistently cite three reasons the Godzilla has become a swap favorite: simplicity, iron block strength, and massive displacement. Unlike small turbocharged engines that rely on boost to make power, the 7.3L delivers strong, naturally aspirated torque from idle, ideal for classic F-Series builds and high-torque street trucks. The broader significance is something automotive analysts have started paying close attention to. True engineering progress often happens quietly. The Gen 2 refinements reflect a philosophy of continuous improvement rather than headline-chasing redesign. Large displacement naturally aspirated V8s are growing rare. Regulatory pressure and electrification trends are pushing the industry towards smaller engines and hybrid systems. In that environment, the 7.3L Godzilla represents a deliberate strategic choice by Ford. A durable, straightforward power plant that meets emissions requirements while serving customers who demand simplicity and long-term serviceability above all else. The bottom line: the 7.3L Godzilla V8 did not need a complete ground-up reinvention. It needed refinement, and that is exactly what Ford quietly delivered. More torque, better airflow, a stronger valve train, improved thermal control, expanded commercial capability, and aftermarket potential that most engines in this segment simply cannot match. For contractors, it is a stronger workhorse. For fleet operators, it is a smarter long-term investment. For enthusiasts, it is a modern big block with enormous tuning headroom. And for anyone watching the industry, it is proof that the most powerful engineering move is not reinvention. It is knowing exactly what to keep and exactly what to make better.